Oh, we've lost Scott again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to today's conversation on Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sara Jane, and the blank screen belongs to my co-host, Scott Holmes. So, Scott, if you can hear me, please can you try coming back in again? He's got a new computer, and it seems to be playing up on him. I am delighted not only to be joined by my co-host, but also to be joined by our guests. Our guests are Mahalia Michael. Mahalia, lovely to have you with us.
Honored, Sara Jane. Thank you.
And Heather Prince. Heather, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
All of us are authors in the book, I Didn't Become Selfish, I Became Harder to Manipulate. So this is part of our series, Selfish or Harder to Manipulate. I'm going to start with you, Heather. Share a little about yourself and what drew you to actually be part of the book.
I've been involved in the spiritual world from a very young age. And I became involved in running my own meditation groups over 30 years ago now. And now I run a psychic development group as well every month. And when I was 49, my marriage, which I believed was forever, wasn't. And that actually threw me into a future which was unknown. And that's why I contributed to your fabulous book, because I wish that somebody had been there to guide me forward fearlessly, because it was very, very scary. I'd met my ex-husband before my 16th birthday. I'd never dated as an adult. I'd never really had any experience regarding any of that, or how to gain my self-empowerment. So contributing to your book is a huge message from me to other women that you can move forward fearlessly. You can become empowered as a solo woman after having been part of a couple for a very, very long time. I was with him for 34 years. We're still friends. We have 3 children. We have 8 grandchildren. We are very blessed. And on the date of my wedding anniversary, I go out and celebrate it every year because of what the result was from that union.
Bless you. Thank you, Heather. Good to see you back, Scott.
Sorry.
No, technology, love it. Mahalia, share a little about yourself and why you chose to participate in the book.
Having the support is essential, and guides and people who have been through difficult adversity. And so it was immediate yes for me to be a part of the book. I was born with a genetic trait of multi-exceptional, profoundly gifted. And I also was born with the connection to the Lyran High Council of Angels. So I have been like an ET since birth. So I really didn't fit in the normal 3D family sense. So through that and my differences with my psychic abilities, clairaudience, clairvoyance, and my intuitive nature, I was basically rejected, misunderstood constantly, which turned me to quiet down, to mute myself, to not share who I really was through my childhood and growing up, and then began a cycle of head injuries and a way of my body turned against myself. I was also bullied as a child, and it went on and continued through my 20s, 30s, even 40s with certain family members. And so, but with those head injuries, they're a gift. So I invite people to look at where their injuries have been or where their traumas have been as gifts, and to let that catapult you. So thankfully, I met a Dr. Swingle, psychoneurophysiologist, who got me into neurofeedback, which got me to stop stuttering and stop having panic attacks, and then eventually getting to be with the music of a beautiful humpback whale off Maui. And this was in my, I want to say, early 40s when this happened, and then activated by a group of kahuna dolphins off Big Island, Hawaii, that gave me what I was born with, my MEPG traits that got buried and suppressed from all the traumas and all the rejection, neglect, and abandonment, really, many betrayals, because I'm so different. I just haven't fit in very well around in my social world. Then I began to speak dolphin and whale language, and I began to build a school around it to help other people who are suffering from head injury, concussion, and also who had suppressed their voice. I was told I was tone deaf, that I should never sing, that I should lip sync happy birthdays at birthday parties. And so really clamped down on my voice and my confidence. But as soon as the whales and dolphins activated me and I started to actually use my voice naturally in connection with Mother Earth, with coherence, and my brain rebuilt itself, now I'm honored to help other people. I'm honored to help them not only repair their brain, activate their regeneration in their genetics, as a scientist, as an inventor of my technology, as well as open their vocals and let their voice be heard and let it be sung out. And whether they sing in tune or not, it's a magical tool. Their voice is a superpower. So it's me in a nutshell. And I'm honored to be a part of the book. Thank you for inviting me, Sara Jane. You've been a real support of mine over many years. And I because of you inviting me on your many shows, it gave me confidence year after year to keep going, because there's many reasons to want to give up. And I always say to people, don't ever give up. Heaven on earth is a thought away. It's a dream away. It's a song away. It's baby steps turn into miracles.
Bless you. Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Scott now.
Well, why? Thank you very much. Mahalia, I was at Maui. It's a magical place in and of itself. I was there in April. I'm really fascinated about how just the context of why the whales and the dolphins, and how that expand a little bit more on the story about that, if you don't mind.
Happy to. So with my MEPG trait, it's a 1 in a million trait, and it gives me advanced hyper-focused intelligence and advanced hyper-focused sensing. So my body is actually like a dolphin now. They have, their brains double the size of ours. They have high intellect, and they're all about freedom. They're about frequency. They're about peace and conscious co-creation and working together as a community. So in their altruistic, loving way, and same with the whales, their music is here to keep the balance and homeostasis on the core of Mother Earth, and also give us all the oxygen in the world. More than what all the trees on Earth give us is what whales give us through their digestive process. And so it's as though I've met my real family and my real tribe. So it's natural for me to have X-ray vision as well, like dolphins do, to see into people's brains and bodies, to see where their trauma is, and then make the sound that will reverse that, which is, and I don't make any promises or guarantees, but all my science is in my book, My Dolphin Doctor, online. But the thing is that dolphins work together to help each other. If one is wounded or unwell, they do that. They X-ray each other, and then they sing to each other. They give the frequency. And humans in ancient times, sound music, our voice was always designed. We always did sing together, and that was a resonance of Lemuria and Atlantis. And that's what the whales also do, and the dolphins, is remind us of the ancient ways, the tribal ways, the connection with our rainbow body, and how to come out of these dark ages. They're a massive bridge for humanity.
Okay, wow. Heather, I'm not going to ask you about dolphins, I promise. So in the work that you do with women. What was, other than the dissolution of your own marriage, what is the impetus for you? What is the core of what you do, why you do it?
That's a really good question, Scott. From my understanding from higher energies, my mission was to come here in this lifetime to help people reach their full potential. So I clear the Akashic records and ancestral shadows. And I start off by looking at the 8 elements of the life wheel and scoring it out of 10. Because if you think of a bicycle wheel, if it's equal all the way round, you've got quite a smooth ride forward. But when there is an aspect that is lower than the full potential of 10, it's a very bumpy, uncomfortable ride in life. So I look at what is in the way of maybe the relationship aspect or the potential of their career. It could be any of the 8 elements and what is in their way. And then I work using over 30 charts. I use a crystal to dowse with, and I connect with my client's higher consciousness, their high self. And they could be living in Dubai, in America, Canada, Australia, South Africa. Doesn't matter where they are. They don't need to be with me here in my energy studio. And I'm just the vessel. And then I type up the full report, and I do it 90-minute sessions because it's like taking off a layer of an onion. And then it goes deeper and deeper as the sessions progress. But in the initial session, I look at the life wheel, I look at the Kabbalah, astrology. What have they come back to learn in this current life? And what did they experience in the relevant past life? There might be many, but there's one relevant, which is what they've come back to learn in this lifetime. So all of that goes into the work that I do for my client. And when I'm working with ladies that have gone through a breakup, a divorce, perhaps they've gone through more than one marriage. They might have, come to the end of a second or even third marriage. The pattern might be repeating itself. It might be an ancestral stuff. It might go back 6 to 8 generations. All of that is covered in the work that I do. Everybody is unique. I meet my client where they're at. There is no set pattern, but there is a process that I follow to clear away the programs running, maybe of self-sabotage, self-punishment, conflict. It could be many, many different things. And I can never pre-guess. I'm always working and trusting their higher self to show me the way of what they need to know. And then I give them some tools on how to address it.
Wow, that sounds incredibly thorough. The question I had that came up was, you said a couple of times that you work with women. Now, is that because men are don't come to you? Is that because
to be really honest, Scott, I've worked over the years. I've worked with loads of men for career or financial or relationship issues. But when I recently worked with a mentor who said a confused mind never buys, I needed to niche down. So I niche down to ladies over 40. But if I am recommended, which is most of my work is referral, then of course I would work with somebody's husband, brother, cousin, neighbor, whoever they are. Yes.
No, I did it sounds absolutely fascinating and in depth. And that would be something that I would take advantage of as someone who's always a seeker. Miss Sara.
What? No, Mahalia, you mentioned about the whales and the oxygen. And I'd suggest to people find this video. And I can't remember what the video is actually called. But if you have ever heard of trophic cascades, there are 2 videos that I'm aware of. One is about the wolves in Yellowstone Park. Fascinating. And the other one is about whales. and it talks about the whales and how they live, and the fact that it is because of them that the oceans and the oxygen. So if people are sort of interested in that, Trophic Cascades whales, and I'm sure you will find that video. And the wolf one is to do, as I said, with Yellowstone Park, how wolves change the course of rivers. And that is fascinating about their reintroduction into Yellowstone. Obviously, in case you hadn't guessed, I'm into those type of things. But I'm loving listening to all that you're saying. And I'm going to pass back to Scott now.
Why, thank you very much. You know, Sara does so many of these interviews that she loves having a partner that asks the questions instead. So it's a wonderful thing. And it's a shared. And I absolutely adore her for that. Yeah. Being as someone who had basically, it sounds like you had been ostracized throughout your childhood and young adulthood because you were different, that you were not like everybody else. And you know, Sara has gone through, and I know her story and how it impacted her. How did that impact your relationships, your close relationships, as walking through that as somebody with extraordinary vibrational elevation that you have?
Great question. Thank you. I spend a lot of time alone, actually, and I still do. I've never been married, don't have kids. I've been very independent. I've tried, you know, I have dear close friends that actually see me and do honor me, and I honor them and see them. There's a respect there. But when there's a weak link, it just doesn't work for me. I'd rather spend my time alone. So what has happened, though, because of it, the gift of it, is this deep communion with Mother Nature, and she is calling all of her children back, and also a deep communion with the God of my understanding, Creator, and how have that communion. I'm spoken to by nature and Creator, and I listen, and then I follow those impulses, and then I get to share more on the whales and the dolphins, on the cymatics, on their science, and they're calling us as well. The whale song, some are reporting, has quieted down, and there's, as we know, the oceans need cleanup. The whales want help because they're getting impacted by the false frequencies in the ocean and military fracking and all the things affecting their cycles, which if they're affected, we have no life, we have no oxygen, we have no breath here. So I want to do whatever I can to make a difference. And it takes being a lot of time alone and in silence and quiet. The other thing I've done has been able to channel my voice into a couple of albums, but one is Mermaid Island, Walking on Water, and it has beautiful whale sounds from the 1970s and dolphin sounds from the 70s. And then I do my vocals as well in dolphin sounds, and also connect with the galactic Lyrans, the Lyran royals, and their light language that comes through me that cleans up dense trauma frequency in the body and then optimizes, as a sonogeneticist, the musical nature of the cells, the musical nature and the symphony that humans are meant to live very healthy. We're meant to live a long time. We have immortal genetics, and we have been brainwashed to think we're meant to suffer, but actually our birthright is of bliss and ecstasy and nirvana. And so again, in my quiet moments, and I'm not always alone. I love dancing. I love being part of going to festivals that have amazing music, and that's fun. But just, hopefully, that answered your question. It's been kind of a lone wolf, speaking of wolves, I'm ready now, though, I love performing as well. So at the World Congress of Illumination with Era of Peace, I got to be in their last two live events in Tucson, and those were magical. And I could bring on all my one-woman show performance and multimedia presentation to really educate people on the power of their body, the power of their voice, the power of regeneration, and what the whales, dolphins, and the galactic realm and the star seeds are bringing now for humanity. So if people just take a moment and really breathe in and connect with nature, nature will guide them. Nature loves us. Nature wants us to thrive. And so, yeah, it's been an interesting path.
And in spite of being kind of outcast, you are trying, your energy is to basically heal the world. And
yeah.
How is that for unconditional love? And Heather, you have done this work, and it sounds like you've spent an awful lot of time understanding it, all the levels that you go through, all the practices you go through, all the understanding, the schooling, the lessons, in order to get to the point where you can help people. How do you see yourself impacting others?
I think, like you've said, I mean, it's this time last week I was on a boat looking for dolphins and whales, and we saw sperm whales. They were spouting up the water. Unfortunately, we didn't see the dolphins, but it was enough to know that the whales were there. I think that we're all drawn to nature, and like you wish to make a difference on a worldwide level. I too am on public YouTube, social media, to make a difference to people. And although, as I've mentioned, I've niched for women, there are so many men that comment under what I'm sharing because they're looking for insight as to, well, what did I do or say that wasn't working in that relationship, or what is a woman looking for? And they're curious. And if I make a difference, I think all of us, on this program tonight, we all wish to make some difference. And I think if you just make a difference even to a handful of people, I've always been told from the higher energies that I'm a teacher. I never grew up wishing to be a teacher. I never was a teacher within a school. And when I did volunteer and go into a local senior school and I offered to do meditation, the fear in the classroom by many, many cosmopolitan children within it that had been in war zones, the fear was so deep that if I said, close your eyes, they wouldn't, because they were too fearful. If I said, you're by the sea, they were scared in case there was a shark. If I said, you're going into a lift, they were scared that the doors wouldn't open. So I think that if we can share so much love and light and reduce the fear, and for each of us to lead by example, to be love and to give information like you are about the sea and the creatures and the oxygen. It's like the bees. If there wasn't bees, we wouldn't be here, would we? But is that taught in the school curriculum? It's not. So it's people like us that share different things. And it's probably, not a human existence that you've had before. You've probably been a dolphin. I think there's so many spiritual teachers out there that say the last incarnation before you become a human is you're a dolphin. Whether that is for real or not, it resonates with me. And I think that they're amazing. And when I was in Dubai, my daughter treated me as a complete surprise to actually go in the water with them. And I'm not happy that they're contained. They're not in their true nature. But to touch them was like silk. Very, very special.
Beautiful. Miss Sara.
I was blessed. Mind you, it was something I wished to do for my 50th birthday. That's going back a few years now. And I went out to Egypt, and there is an area within the sea there called Dolphin House. And so, they don't promise you are going to see dolphins. And the number of times that sort of we did go out, and it came to the last day and I still hadn't seen any. And it was just like, come on, guys, you got me out here, because I took out the sound energy, and sort of, as much as I didn't go scuba diving, I did, for the first time in my life, go snorkeling and whatever. So I was able, and I did take sound out, because I work with sound, I work with the voice. And I was just like, come on, you got me out here. So I've brought my energies out here. Now show me those dolphins, which they did.
Wow.
I didn't get to touch them. And that was fine, because they were living out as they should. But I bought a couple of little underwater cameras, and I have some beautiful shots. And I said I didn't get that close to them. I certainly couldn't reach out and touch them. One of the photos, it looks as if I could have reached out and touched them, because obviously there's magnification within the water and potentially within the camera as well. So there weren't many shots that I got underwater that were any good, because I couldn't exactly see what I was doing. But to be able to be in that same space with them. But I am one of these people, I adore nature. And I may have been married twice. I love my own space. I adore it. I am very happy being single, as much as I share a house. And I do. And it is with a gentleman friend, but he's like a big brother. I adore my own space. I lived on my own for 7 years. I very happily live on my own. So I get it, Mahalia. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we're all here to necessarily have the relationships of that type with other people. It doesn't matter. If you're somebody that is more comfortable being on your own so that you can fulfill your purpose. And I've heard it said that if you have just gone from relationship to relationship to relationship, have the courage to get to know yourself, to spend time with yourself. And I think that is something that can really help people, because then you get to know who you are. You get to find who you are under everything that everybody else has told you. Give yourself that time in nature, whatever nature speaks to you. I've actually had a walk along a river today, which was lovely. The sun was shining most of the time. I didn't get to see a kingfisher, but my friend Trevor did. But there was a heron, and sort of there were birds flying around, and there was a couple of swans. And it was just lovely to be able to walk along the riverbank, because water, but it tends to be rivers and lakes for me, and waterfalls. I adore waterfalls. It's the energy. And so it's what speaks to you. I mean, I love woods as well. So I'm definitely, but I'm definitely an earth being, because my star sign, both the zodiac sign and the Chinese, they're both earth. So I'm I have to be very grounded down here. But what you were saying about alternate life experiences, I know I've spent lifetimes on other planets. And I know I'm very, very connected with dragon energy. It's trusting who we are. If something is said, you listen to something, you hear something, you see something, and it hits you in the core of your being, which I would tend to think of as it being your solar plexus, not your heart, actually, your solar plexus. If it hits you in the core of your being, there is a truth in that. It's a truth for you. It might not be a truth for others, but it is a truth for you. And it's important for us to be true to ourselves.
Speaking of being true to ourselves, one of the things that I have found is I have found my tribe, and it's mostly online, and it's in England, South Africa, Bali, Canada, California. I live in Boston, And it's amazing, all my feeds are of people that I know. So I think our work, the high vibrational work, is everywhere and everybody knows about it. Well, no, it's only about 1% of the people that are out there that really do this. Heather, where do you find your tribe? You have said that you get downloads, you go to higher selves, you deal with higher beings. Where do you find your tribe?
I think you become a flame, and I think the moths are attracted to a flame. No disrespect to referring to people as moths, but that's the kind of imagery that that you just become. In the tarot card, I've always been said, oh, Heather, you're the Empress. So, okay, as the Empress, you just have your presence and you attract. So when I'm working with women, yes, like Sara Jane, they've been married a couple of times. They want their space. They don't want to be in relationship. Absolutely fine. Everybody has free will. And some people do want that. And one woman said to me, Heather, it'd be really nice if somebody just said to me, would you like a cup of tea? Because she misses that if you've been used to that. So everybody, as I've said, is unique. So I think that you just attract, at the end of the day, whoever's out there on social media, whatever, promoting what they do, you're not selling your modality that you can do EFT tapping or you're a hypnotherapist. You're selling you. And either they're going to resonate with that energetic, energy, or they're not. And I think right now, sound vibration is becoming much more accepted, much more known. And so many, was it megahertz or whatever it is known to heal, and different levels of frequency heal different aspects of the body. Sound baths are becoming more mainstream, gong baths and all of that, which was quite unique maybe 5 years ago, much more mainstream now. Color healing, using the red color healing right now, much more mainstream. We're all moving in that holistic direction.
Yeah.
And you, that's how you attract. Is I was always told a lighthouse does not go marching around searching for people. It shines its light and people come to it.
Yes, and that's how I teach my ladies. If they do want to go out and they do wish to meet someone, if their vibrational level is where they've become whole again, and they've got their self-esteem and self-respect and all of the what I call the selfies, they're going to attract in a resonance at that level of a person, be it male or female, whatever their preference, who is also whole, and two wholes and then can enhance each other. And if that's what they want, that's great. But you don't need to go looking for a needle in a haystack. You just need to exude that energy, that aura, that vibration, and the bees will come to the pollen.
I guess that would make me a bee. So, Mahalia, how do you and have you found, or have you even found your tribe?
I'm growing my tribe, Scott. I'm growing it. I'm out there and I'm sharing knowledge and experiences, and whoever is attracted to that, it's growing. So yes, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, and obviously with the depth of knowledge that you show, the understanding, that has got to be absolutely amazing. Sara, would you tell people how you grow have grown your tribe to thousands.
Scott calls me a collector of people. I just like connecting with people, period. And having conversations. It's how I met Heather. It's how I met Scott through David McLeod. And that's how I met you, Mahalia, as well. I just love putting it out there and speaking to people and connecting. And some of those stick, some of them don't. And to be perfectly honest, it's what works. And so, yes, I think I've actually known these two ladies longer than I've known you, Scott. So, and I love that. It's putting yourself out there. It's making yourself available. But it is. People will be attracted to you. I'll have conversations with people. I may have another conversation again. But the way I look at what I'm bringing, if you like, I'm being the way I'm being. Is it's creating that net of connection around the world. And the more of us that can connect, even if it's only over one conversation, and I find it's fascinating. I've never met somebody, we go into an open call together and we don't stop talking because we're on the same wavelength. We can talk about a load of the things that I can't talk about with a fabulous group of friends I've got, but I can't talk about this stuff with them because I've grown since I met them over 25 years ago. I've grown, and some of them don't want to hear what I've got to say. That's fine. But I'm more comfortable in a group like this because these conversations are food for my soul. And that is, so the energy I put out, if people feel they want to, we can work together, we'll work together. And we may not speak then for several months, years, and then we come back together again, because this is the energy that we're here to bring. And if we don't put these conversations out, how are people going to find them? But I'm going to say to you, Scott, let's get back to the ladies' choices of conversation, because we told everyone we were going to be talking about these topics. Can you still see them in the chat?
Reclaiming your energy and how to stop overgiving and start living. I take. What's that again?
That's Heather's.
That is Heather's. Thank you.
That's me. Right. Okay.
Do you
want to ask me the question? No.
I was just wondering. I was reading the topic, but I was wondering why you chose that.
It's something that I've discovered while working with clients, is that we give our power away. For the majority of people that suddenly have a problem with their physical body, they will go straight to the doctor and they give their power over to somebody that studied for 7 years, bless them, but has maybe spent a very little amount of that time understanding nutrition, for example. So it's really important, in my personal opinion, that we are educated and we can then make our own choices of what feels right for us. And when you go to a doctor, they'll say, and are you having a healthy diet? Oh, yes, somebody will say. But does the doctor say, can you give me everything that you've eaten over the last month written down? Because how on earth do they know by an answer of somebody saying yes? So I think that there's a lot of things that we need to become self-empowered about. So reclaiming your energy, for me, is reclaiming your power. Also, if you've been in a family, it could be a relationship with parents, siblings, other people apart from a love relationship, they can pull out your self-esteem. They can pull out your self-confidence. And like you see a planet with other planets orbiting round it, my job, the way I work, is let's pull them back to make you whole again. So how Spirit have shown me what I am supposed to be doing is with a starfish. Because if a starfish gets its legs chopped off, it regenerates it. So I've been told with my clients, I call them the selfies, I need to show them how to regenerate their self-confidence. If they've been in a family or a love relationship where somebody has pulled out their confidence, and maybe as a child they've said, oh, you're clumsy, what do you always drop in that for, you're clumsy, and they get labeled as the clumsy one. You've got to be so careful. Words are just as resonant as music is. And it's got to be careful how we talk to our young generation. And then there's self-belief. Oh, you'll never amount to much. Oh, you're not academic. Well, who cares? They might be the best artist ever. You know, it doesn't matter about being academic. And then there's self-love, self-respect, self-esteem. They're the 5 that I particularly work on. And I'm guided as to what they need to focus on first. It's not just me, as I say, I'm just the vessel. But reclaiming your energy, that's what I'm all about. And how to stop overgiving. I think when you want to draw attention to yourself and you've been brought up in a family where they're working or they're busy, or leave me alone, I've got to do the ironing now, or go away in that room, I've got to peel the potatoes. You know, they start to overgive because look how good I am, because I want to be loved. And that goes then into a love relationship, and that's where it goes all wrong, because they're overgiving. And start living is, as you know, Sara Jane just said, you know, get to know who you are, do things that you love to do. You love to read, join a book club. Be with like-minded people. You like meditation, join a meditation group. You're into psychic stuff, go and join a psychic development circle. All of that kind of thing. You enjoy drinking wine, go and join a wine club. Meet other people who are like-minded so that you can be yourself and nobody's saying, oh, look at you, you know, you're a bit posh drinking all the wine. You don't need that. You need somebody to say, oh, well, what do you think of this claret? You know, and you want to educate yourself and learn something new every day. Keep the brain going and mix with interesting people and diverse people and people you wouldn't normally meet. I think that's really important. And that's when you start living.
Wow. It sounds to me it's a lot about boundaries.
Yeah, and most of my clients come in here and there are no boundaries.
I find the same, that a lot of problems are solved by allowing them to feel where the boundaries are, where they are, and getting them back into that feeling out process. And they, oh, no, I don't like boundaries. I said, okay, what about speed bumps? What do you mean? Well, a speed bump is rising the road, and you hear when the car goes over it, you hear bump, bump, right? And they're going much slower. I said, make that bump, bump. If you hear that sound, that means caution. And that means, yes, you didn't throw up a fence, but you have a speed bump. So maybe you should be cautious then. So, Mahalia, vocal alchemy. Interesting how you were talking about sound, and we all are, I think, very sensitive to the sound, having been in a number of sound baths, and how sound affects us. How does vocal alchemy work for you with working with people and with yourself?
Vocal alchemy is not only connecting with the vibration, but the light behind the voice and the light that runs the body. That is the voltage that stimulates the original frequency of the human soul, spirit, their endocrine system, the heart. So I call it light sound as opposed to just sound. And I find, so when people say they're, because not everyone uses their voice as a superpower or tool for changing the body. So when I teach my clients how to use their voice, I take them back to their original light first, so that so when they make sound as an instrument of change, it's positioned on this super cosmic frequency that is what is the spark of their heart. And without that, they're not as possibly as impactful. And it's something that the dolphins taught me over many years to prepare me to do what I do. So yeah, that's one of the very important factors, is include light. So knowing that there's frequency, not just sound. So I love sound baths. I've done many, just lots of crystal bowls, gongs, Tibetan bowls, all the great things that are out there, but then getting deeper into what really is in the codes of the human voice. And so I talk about cymatics a lot. So how our voice creates shape and the sacred geometry that comes out, and how we change shape in the reality around us. So the plasma we're in, the water-based system, the water of the body, and that's what whales and dolphins are doing, constantly emitting these sacred geometry in the oceans. And then up in us here on Earth, we are able to tap into that sacred geometry if we choose to meditate on their codes and receive them, or we will be advanced in our intelligence without even having to go in the wild to swim with whales or dolphins. And I'm taking a group to Mahalia, the heart-shaped island, to swim in a very beautiful wild sanctuary for humpback whales, so that we can commune with them, sing with them, let them feel our light before they feel our vibration, because that's the first code, is light.
Where is that, by the way?
It's an island beside Tahiti. So it's a French Polynesian island. And what I love about there is the people are very protective of how swim with the whales there. So they're not bombarded. They're obviously in the wild where they're meant to be. That's the only place. I mean, every animal should be free to be in the ocean. Dolphins, whales, turtles, sharks, all free, all safe, all healthy. And I am excited about that, because the whales are calling humanity right now. And Mahalia has a direct link to Egypt, interestingly enough. And when I'm in Mahalia with a very group of powerful leaders, there's an amazing, powerful group in Egypt at the same time. And we didn't plan that consciously. The divine planned it, so that what we're doing is awakening Lemuria even more, supporting the awakening of the ancient technologies. And it's this deep, deep, deep grid line. And we're all going to be doing daily ritual, daily prayer, daily sounding, daily light embodiment, and daily holographic transmission to the ocean and the whales and other. There's sperm whales there sometimes, not always. There's pilot whales, to let them know we are here for them and with them. We will sing with them and for them. We are committed. We are standing with them for the human race. And yeah, that's how, for me, vocal alchemy, like now, when I look back over the many years of working with many clients around the world, and remotely and audibly, even they don't have to see me or hear my voice or even know that I'm working on them, I'm transmitting this sacred geometry, but seeing miracles, like people preventing back surgery, preventing hip surgery, help people coming off medications with no side effects. And my intention, even people coming honestly out of hospice, the testimonies are mind-blowing to me, but it's not that I'm claiming I'm doing it. I'm not. It is God, creator, source, only and always, and the Christ consciousness within. And then all it is doing is reshaping the field, so that person's codes light up and they remember their original light, and they remember their original regenerating power. And everybody has an original blueprint that is of total health, and it is total immortality. It's absolute beauty, grace, pleasure, comfort, not survival, not enslaved construct, not in trauma and suffering. It's this wholeness, and it's magical, and it's music. It's a symphony. So I call myself more like an MD, which is more musical director, also medical musician, but I direct the music in someone's body, really. Like, I would say I'm a conductor of where the instrument needs a little tuning and refining. And it's always, as I want to say, it just always goes back to the original light. So that's the original spark in the heart.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The vibration of that we carry with us. And I think you'll always find around Sara very high vibrational people is, I think, what we're attuned to and what we are attracted to. Heather, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you would like to add as we wind down the program?
No, but it's really weird that we're quite similar in what we do, because we are fine-tuning the individual, but with different ways of doing it. And it's wonderful what you're doing, absolutely wonderful, and I love it. And I think I've covered who I work for, why I do it, how it's done, and I just want to add that if anyone's watching this, I have got a 6-week journey as an introduction to changing your love blueprint, talking about blueprints. And it's all about understanding yourself and self-awareness. So if that's of interest to anybody, I'm sure Sara Jane, my website, will go under the video, and you can find out more about it on there. So thank you, Scott and Sara Jane. It was great to meet you too. I think that's great. I once went to a local meeting a few years ago, and the lady there channeled what she called light language, but to me, she was a dolphin, and it was amazing.
Beautiful. Mahalia, is there anything that you would like to add that we haven't covered yet?
If anyone out there is really struggling right now with mental health issues, physical issues, the number one thing I would suggest is the humming. So just as we were talking about bees and the buzzing, and there's what I call a lower brain whale hum. So just a hum. And so if someone's really stressed, they're maxed, they're not sure where to turn, hum. Let that vibrate in your brain. What it does is it helps neural pathways change. Just a few minutes, a little bit every day. And get out in nature, hug a tree, talk to a tree, get in the water. I live here on a gorgeous glacier lake, and I'm in it every day. It calls me, and I commune with the silky water and the messages in the water. And so let water teach you and support you. And I'm starting a brand new program as well for vocal alchemy to teach people how to do what I do, and especially for practitioners around the world that are very ready to take on sound medicine as a modality and to optimize their clients' experience. And what I love is the way the voice works is when someone chooses to open and really sound with love and speak love out, right? We are changing reality. And they're also activating the person they're sharing it with. Like today on this chat, we just put out geometry. We put out signals in the field that then will ripple. And that's how vocal alchemy really works. And we're like waves on the ocean, signaling for rebirth in others so that they then will speak out the rebirthing codes. And that's what I'm grateful for. So happy to be here. Great to meet you all. Be with you all.
Thank you. Sara,
Scott, have you got any final words you'd like to add?
The eloquence of these beautiful ladies was enough. I just so enjoyed hearing both of them. And you, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. The rootmaster.com is Heather. Yes, and I've put it in the chat and I will put it under the videos. And then brain-bliss.com for Mahalia. If anything here, if anything that any of us have said has spoken to you, please check out the websites. I will put Scott's and mine under the video on YouTube as well. Check out the websites. And if you really feel like contacting somebody, contact us. We are here to support and help. And just trust. If something really speaks you, catches you in the core of your being, listen to it. It is your body, it is your soul speaking to you. For me, I see our heart as being our connection to our soul. And if you're feeling something right there in your being, and I know I've said the solar plexus is for me the core of your being, but if something is really catching you, really feels it resonates with you. And I know we talked about a lot about sound, but it's still about resonance. If it resonates with you, then it's up to you to actually allow yourself, to encourage yourself to do something about it. I know I have in my life, and it's listening. It is listening and trusting that feeling that you get. And it's amazing what it will help you to bring. And if you're not sure what you're looking for, I can tell you from experience, I remember sitting on the top of my stairs in my previous house and thinking, what can I learn for me? And I didn't understand at that point. I was asking the universe, and the universe answered, and it gave me the connection to Reiki. The first person you treat when you learn is yourself. Ask, be open, and it is amazing the answers that will come to you. So I'm going to say a massive, massive thank you to all three of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of I Didn't Become Selfish, I Became Harder to Manipulate. Everybody in that book has given in these programs. We are organizing a fireside gathering of hopefully the most of the authors that we will be sharing as well. There are no charges for any of that. The book, yes, that you've got to pay for, but there's no charges. So enjoy these. You will find them on giftofhealingtv.com on the Today's Conversation catch-up page. There's a whole series of these. Enjoy them. Listen to them. If they speak to you, brilliant. If they touch your life, that's why we've done it. Thank you, Mahalia, Heather, Scott.
Thank you.
And next week, we've been talking about blueprints. Linda Binns who actually is also in the book, is joining me. Your energy blueprint is going to be the topic she's going to be sharing. So I hope that you will join us for that as well. Take care, be safe, stay well. Namaste, sweet souls.
Namaste.
Bye.
Namaste.